Hello and welcome to Leaders Talk, where we meet leaders, thinkers, and trailblazers among Guan in Beijing. Our guest today is Mr. Ngolo Bumba, the president of Namibia. What role does he see China playing in Africa and across the global south? And what does he make of the deliverables of the recently concluded China-Africa summit known as FOCAC? And what projects are in the pipeline for China, Namibia, and China-Africa cooperation going forward? Here's my conversation with the president of Namibia. Your Excellency, President Bumba, welcome back to China and welcome to Leaders Talk on China Media Group. Talking about the FOCAC 2024, and the theme of this year is Together Toward Modernization and High-Level China-Africa Community of Shared Future. How does this theme resonate with you?
Well, it could have been the biggest, if we are to talk about development right now, you can't talk about development without thinking or talking about China. We have to work together first in the area of peace to create stability in the world, to make sure that science, technology, innovations, and the general development in the scientific field is shared openly. So if we can do that, then China and Africa will develop concurrently, moving forwards, and that will bring really prosperity to the people of the world.
We understand that there are a number of initiatives of Africa Plus One. What do you think FOCAC stand out as a mechanism, as a platform from other African engagement with other parts of the world? What made it special?
Okay, first, the plus is not yet my issue. I deal with FOCAC on the basis of China-Africa Forum for Cooperation, okay? And the FOCAC is based on other initiatives. For example, the Belt and Road Initiative, which is a program is initiative of China to make sure that where development is needed, is necessary, and is needed not for the benefit of one country, but for the benefit of to develop trade, to develop economy, to develop science, to develop education. It is necessary, therefore, that this forum is very, very important, very unique. We are here talking about the business. We are here talking about trade. We are here talking about the issue of mining, the issue of developing new form of energy, and therefore we are comfortable with those type of arrangement. We will continue to cooperate with China in many, many respects.
This world green hydrogen, on which Namibia is very, very big, summits going on, and you took time out of all these busy schedule to make it to China to meet the president.
It will be my first to meet him on a one-to-one basis. I look forward to it. He's one of the most respected leaders, if not the respected. We respect him, we honor him. That's why we are honoring his invitation to be here and to interact, not only with him as a person, but the authority in China, the business community in China, the technological leaders in China. This is quite a week to learn and also a week to interact, and therefore to build the confidence how to develop our country and its economy in the future.
Your Excellency, you talk about President Xi. Since assuming office as president in 2013, the very first trip President Xi Jinping took was to Tanzania, Africa. And during his speech in Tanzania, President Xi said this about his feelings, his approach towards Africa. He said, to treat our African friends is all about sincerity. To cooperate with Africa is all about real results. To boost friendship is all about affinity. And to solve our existing problems is all about good faith. How does that resonate with you? How do you feel about that?
Very true indeed. And not only true because it was said, but also true because that is how he practiced his foreign policy and his contact to African countries. We all benefited from that contact. Tanzania, Zambia, Angola, Mozambique, Zimbabwe, Namibia, South Africa. So it is said correctly, said by a sincere person, a straightforward leader who means his words and who is talking from his mind and from his heart. He's a solid leader. He's a dynamic leader.
Namibia is located in southwestern Africa, bordered by Angola and Zambia to the north, Botswana to the east, South Africa to the south, and the Atlantic Ocean to the west. Namibia is renowned for its vast deserts, stunning coastlines, diverse ecosystems, and abundant natural resources. The desert is a defining feature of Namibia, with 15% of its land covered by the world's oldest desert, the Namib Desert. Here, endless dunes meet the Atlantic Ocean, creating a unique landscape where half is sea and half is desert, and attracting countless tourists each year. Another notable characteristic of Namibia is its sparse population. With a land area of 820,000 square kilometers and a population of just 3.02 million, the country has fewer than 3 people per square kilometer, making it one of the least densely populated nations in the world. But Namibia, last time I checked, is the 34th largest country in terms of landmass anywhere in the world, meaning it is larger than any other European country except Russia.
Yes, that's ours from origin. And from origin or from God, it is also a very diverse country. It has a stretch of a desert called the Namib Desert, from which the name Namibia comes from, stretching from the border with South Africa to the border with Angola. According to records, is one of the oldest deserts in the world. As much as it is a desert, the seawater touches on the sand dunes of our desert. There are no trees, there are no palm trees on our coast. No, just the dunes and the water. It also has wildlife.
What else should the world know about your country, Namibia, that they currently don't?
Well, the one thing is you always have to talk about the people first. We are very nice people. We are very peaceful people. We are very calm people. Because we have so much space. And sometimes you can drive long distances without seeing any other car or seeing anybody. So whenever you see another car, you start waving already. Or whenever you see somebody, you start waving already. We have a flourishing fishing industry at our coast. So if you want to eat some of the best seafood, fish, come to Namibia. If you want beef, we have the best beef on the continent. I have to speak now as a Namibian. The best continent, whether the other best people can claim that is their business.
We'll check with President Ramaphosa
My business is to market Namibia. We have wildlife, you see them, take the photo with your camera. It's also variety in terms of, you have areas that are totally dry. You have some areas near the rivers, the Great Zambezi River, Kavango River, Kunene River, where there are major trees and very good possibility for agriculture. So where people are growing blueberries, we are marketing blueberries even to China. We are trying to marketing grapes. We produce grapes for table grapes. We produce many other things.
Although China and Namibia are separated by thousands of miles, they share deep historical ties. During Namibia's struggle for national independence, China provided unwavering support. On March 21, 1990, after more than a century of colonial rule and countless uprisings, Namibia finally gained national independence, becoming the last African nation to achieve national sovereignty. The day after Namibia gained independence, established diplomatic relations with China. Since then, regardless of changes in the international landscape, the two countries have stood by each other, advancing together. In recent years, under the strategic guidance of both nations' leaders, China-Namibia relations and cooperation across various fields have reached new heights. I want to begin with the enduring friendship of the SWAPO party, which we have been very engaged in, and the Communist Party of China, which really encapsulated the friendship of our two nations. How do you feel about that? Do you feel the same way?
Definitely. I'm glad. First, let me say that I'm glad to be in China this round time in the capacity as head of state of the Republic of Namibia. I have visited Beijing, visited China several times as a minister in the government, but more so as Secretary General of the SWAPO party. And I had the responsibility also to bring some other leaders of SWAPO, the younger ones, of course, new members of the Central Committee, new governors, new members of parliament who belong to our party, so that I can introduce them to China, to your development, to your party organization, China, as a friend and as a solid friend, as a historic friend who is continuing to work with us to develop our country.
How would you reflect on the frequent and close engagement between SWAPO and the CPC of China as an encapsulation of bilateral relations? What stories or memories can you share with us along the way?
Very good. In the first place, I must say that the foundation was laid a long time ago, in the 60s now, you are referring to, by our founding president, Dr. Sam Nujoma, who was followed by another stalwart of the struggle for independence, Dr. Hifikepunye Pohamba, who was then followed by the president we lost while he was still in office.
Yeah, we're truly sorry about that.
Dr. Hage Geingob. All those, they were from the beginning friends of the Communist Party of China. That we owe it, and therefore when I become Secretary General of the party, I know the foundation, a firm foundation is already laid. And therefore it was not difficult to ask the Chinese ambassador in Windhoek. It was easily facilitated. We visited some of your fantastic facilities, training facilities, and also historic places where Chairman Mao.
But these days, when you turn on the television to pick up a newspaper, a lot of Western scholars and commentators, they describe China as this, somehow neo-colonialist power, not honoring the memories of our collective anti-imperialist and anti-colonialist past, our fight towards national independence, this historical parallels. What do you think is behind this collective amnesia of some scholars and commentators in some areas of the world?
And I think one thing we must understand, honoring your history, honoring the history of your former leaders, and honoring actually the culture and the history of your own country comes in many ways. Some people will write about it. Some people will invent things about it. Some people will produce energy, food, and other things. Some other people respect and protect their own country, whether it is their harbors or space or land or air. So respect coming in many ways. The amnesia is the jealousy, we must admit, that some people are just jealous of what China has become in a short time, getting so many millions of people out of poverty and hunger and putting them at par with the rest of the then developed countries. But ours now is to make sure that we cooperate in the development of our own economies, in the training of our own people, in providing health to our people. You are now free, behave like free people. Develop, choose your friends and talk to your friends the way you want to talk, and not to be told who to talk to and who not to engage with.
Mr. President, you've been coming to China for a long time, since decades ago. Your first trip to China was in the 1990s. I want to ask you about the Chinese path to modernization, because many scholars think that this is a unique path, different from, copying indiscriminately a Western prototype. What do you think?
Yes, I think it is. So development will take place, but the question is this development for the welfare of the people and the benefit of the world, or is for selfish end? And that is what we have to avoid. We have to work together, cooperate together, and build a shared prosperity for all people, for all nations.
What do you identify as the biggest problem, the hindrance from realizing this equitable and equal and just world?
I think the inequality of the past, the domination of other countries and other people of the past, we should leave that behind and truly and honestly work together to develop. We have land, we have countries, we have water. There are many, many things we can do. We don't need to be engaged in funny politics of destroying one another or robbing one another's minerals or countries, but to cooperate together and benefit all of us.
President Xi Jinping proposed 3 global initiatives: Global Development Initiative, Global Security Initiative, and Global Civilization Initiative. Do you think these initiatives proposed by President Xi offer a viable alternative to existing Western-dominated paradigms? How do you expect these initiatives from China, from President Xi, in shaping global governance and global norms going forward?
But you can see already, why are we here? Because we understand the trend, how things are moving now. Multilateralism is very, very important. For some people to think that they are the only one, their country is the only one that matters, and the lives even of their people is the only thing that matters. Other people you can get rid of them, it's not important. It is very, very important that humanity accept that we are one, that we better learn how to cooperate, how to work together. And also, no matter how, the way we start is the way we will end. We grow, we contribute to humanity, we go back to the ground. So I think it is very, very important that truly initiatives like that by honest people representing strong, honest principles, they are worthy of pursuing, they are worthy of respecting, and we should all of us work together to make humanity at this level of development of the world to live in peace, to be able to live the lives our grandparents or great-great-grandparents could not have imagined.
Let's zoom in on some economic cooperation projects between our two countries, China and Namibia. On mining, Husab uranium mine is the single biggest investment made by China in Africa. It's also a model of China-Namibia cooperation. What changes has projects like that brought to your country?
A project like that, in the first place, in a country which need employment, in a country which need technology, in a country which need development, is very, very important to have, you have to have champions in every respect. You have to have champions in terms of industry, champions in terms of mining, and to be recognized that we are the second or third largest producer of uranium in the world, and to have a company which is strong and a company that is also connected to a major nation is very beneficial to us. And they did not stop there. They also extend to the old Rosing uranium mines. So it become now an industry known and identified by Namibians and for Namibia as a country.
And we heard that uranium projects involving Chinese-Namibian cooperation contributed to some 6 to 7% of the country's GDP, generating some 8,000 well-paying jobs and close to $1 billion Namibian dollars in tax revenue. Is that a correct estimate?
Yes, and remember, for 3 million people, that's quite money in the bank, not in the pocket, but in the bank.
Mr. President, green hydrogen is another big thing for your country. I know that Namibia strives to be the first country in Africa to achieve carbon neutrality. It is focusing very aggressively on developing green hydrogen on the large scale. Can you tell us a bit about that endeavor?
Our late president used to say that 3 or 4 years ago, we never even knew the word hydrogen. But he picked it up. He got in touch with people who have the knowledge and understanding of it. He studied it and he marketed it to all of us. Namibia was identified not only by us, by experts throughout the world, that we have a unique possibility to develop it. We have the desert, I have described it already. We have the harbor, we have the wind, we have one of the driest place in the world. That sun is almost 365 days a year. And we identify a number of companies to be our partners. The big program is to produce the green hydrogen using solar power and wind power, having enough space to develop it, developing the harbor in Lüderitz and as well as in Walvis Bay, to make sure that big ships will come, collect the green ammonia, green hydrogen, take it to Europe, use it for their industries, whether it's from trains to ships, to motor cars, to buses, to everything. That's what the big idea is. And we are very, very serious. We are training our young people with bachelor's and master's degrees and PhD in that direction. And so far, we have been successful.
Finally, we're marking the 75th anniversary of the founding of People's Republic of China. Can I borrow your kindness and ask you to say a few words to the country and to the 1 billion Chinese audience?
I wish you have allowed me to polish up my Chinese. Unfortunately, it's too late now. Just to say congratulations and many, many more returns of your National Day. Thank you.
President Bumba, Your Excellency, thank you so much for your time and enjoy your journey in China. You'll come back, right?
It was my pleasure to have been here, and definitely I will continue to come back as long as I can climb the stairs of a plane.
Very impressive, very touching. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much.
Rome was not built in a day, neither was China-Africa fraternity and affinity. Despite occasional challenges in relations between China and Africa, and despite geopolitical headwinds framing China as a neo-colonialist power in Africa, it is up to the African leaders and the African people to judge what kind of a power and a partner China has been. And in the case of Namibia, President Bumba says he sees China as a development role model, a sincere friend, and a trailblazer in the fight for global justice and equality. Thank you for watching this episode of The Leaders Talk. I'm Ong in Beijing. I'll see you again next time.